Hey everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. As you can see, I'm wearing my lingerie because today's video is going to be another baking with Bad. And I really like the lingerie I have on today. It's like this cute lacy yellow baby doll, and you'll get to see more of it as I show you more of the video. But today I'm going to be making cherry pie. Now, you guys voted on my Instagram which dessert I was gonna make for you for this video. So I'm really excited to get started. I have a bunch of different ingredients. First, I'm going to be making the pie crust, and we are also going to be making the pie filling, baking it, and then I'll show you the finale at the end, but you better watch the whole thing. First, we're gonna put on our apron because we don't wanna get our sexy lingerie messed up, and yeah, let's take a look at which ingredients we're going to be using right now. Okay, so we're going to start with the pie crust. You can use regular sugar if you want to. I prefer to use brown sugar because it makes it a lot more moist, but regular sugar is fine too. You need your flour, of course. You're going to need butter. I like to throw in Crisco whenever I can, especially if something calls for butter. You're just going to want a little bit of Crisco to butter ratio. And then for the filling for your pie, you're going to have some spices here, which I'll show you in detail later. You're going to want your cornstarch, more flour. You're going to use your regular sugar for the filling, and you're going to need approximately 4 cups of pitted cherries, and I had to pit each one of those myself. It is about 160 cherries. I asked Alexa, and that's the amount that she said I should use. Of course, I have a little lemon here because you're going to want something for acidity. All right, so let's start with the pie crust. It's going to yield 2 pie crusts, one for the bottom of the pie, and of course your lattice layer that's going to be on the top. We're going to start with our dry ingredients, so that means our flour and our brown sugar. And also, I forgot to mention salt, but that's pretty much everything that you're ever going to make. You're always going to need some salt. You're going to start off with 3 cups of all-purpose flour. Of course, we're running out of flour, so I had to get more. And this makes number 3. I'm going to get 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. And lastly, your salt. You're just going to want 1 teaspoon of that. Don't want anything crazy. I don't know about you, but I kind of like a sweet crust. And you don't really have to do this, but I'm going to sprinkle a little cinnamon in there because no one said you can't add seasoning to your crust. Most people don't. I don't know why. But you can add seasoning to just about everything in a pie. You're just going to whisk that up. It smells like cinnamon. Now onto our butter and shortening. See, most people would use a food processor. I don't even have I think I do have a food processor, but it's a little small for the amount of crust I'm making. And right now I'm gonna get 1.5 sticks of butter, and I'm gonna cube it off to make it a little easier for myself. But I actually learned watching the Holiday Baking Championship that to make a really good crust, you have to actually like knead in the butter and maybe even leave a few big chunks in there because it melts into this like amazing flaky texture. And then for your vegetable shortening, you're gonna want about 1/3 cup, or maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tablespoons. Vegetable shortening is a little different than butter. I mean, you can actually leave it out, and when it comes to mixing it in, it's a lot easier to incorporate, but I'm still going to chop it up just a little bit because, like I said, we're doing this by hand, so we want our life to be a little easy. Right, I definitely suggest taking off your rings because your hands are about to get super nasty. But in a way, it's kind of relaxing. It's like one of those weird soothing mechanisms. So what I'm gonna do is just like massage the butter and the Crisco in there. Basically like putting it in my fists and squeezing and just repeating that again and again and again until your flour is no longer flour and it looks more like a dough. Okay, the thing I love about my recipe is you don't really need that much water in the end, and water is what makes you have to like wait a lot longer because you're gonna have to refrigerate it so it'll be solid enough for you to roll. But as you can see, just with the butter and the Crisco and the flour and the brown sugar, it is super moist and it's already making like a round dough-like figure, and that's what you want, see? Okay, lastly, we're gonna just sprinkle a little bit of water just to make it a little bit more firm, and then we can make it into discs, throw it in the fridge while we make that filling. And when I mean sprinkle, I mean literally just like tiny little sprinkle, just a little bit at a time until it's just a little bit more sticky. Now you definitely don't want it to be too sticky, but this right here is perfect. I probably put about a half a teaspoon of water. This is basically what all of it together is gonna look like. You can put your thumb right in there and it's going to stick. All right, I have my 2 discs. Now we can move on to that filling. So for our filling, we have to move over to the stove because we're going to be mixing up the juices, the sugar, everything is going to be heated for about 8 to 10 minutes. And it's going to be so good, but you can't eat it because it's going to go into your pie. So I already have my 4 cups of cherries in there, and now I'm going to add 1 cup of the granulated sugar. A lot of sugar, but you're going to need it. And I guess you can go ahead and turn on your stove to about medium heat. And then you're going to do 1/4 cup of cornstarch. This is going to thicken up your sauce. Do a half a teaspoon of almond extract. Almond extract goes a really long way, so I would really measure that to the T. For lemon, I'm just going to cut a lemon in half and squeeze it directly into my saucepan. But in your case, you want about 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. This also goes a long way. You don't want like a lemon pie, you want a cherry pie. So you're just adding this lemon for some acidity. But lastly, I'm going to add a cinnamon stick because I think it really delivers like the best amount of flavor versus cinnamon powder. All right, so our filling is done. We can turn that off, and then we're going to turn on our oven so it'll get nice and hot by the time that we're ready to put it in there. You're gonna do 375, and then we're gonna bake it for about an hour. But first, we need to put everything together. I've already put my first disc into the bottom of my glass pie dish. The next step is going to be put your filling in there. I've let it cool just a few minutes. You don't want it to be crazy hot. It might start cooking your dough, but it's going to be amazing. As you can see, it is a lot like a jelly. And you might have thought, oh wow, 160 cherries, that sounds crazy, but when you see it in there and after you cook them down, it's actually not that much. Let's just smooth it evenly out as much as you can. As you can see, that is thick. It has that cherry color. It's still even steaming. So we're going to set it aside. And then we're gonna get in the fridge, get our other disc, and we're gonna make that lattice woven top. Okay, we have put our crust on top. I just did a simple little design. I'm going to put it in the oven now. It's gonna cook for about an hour. Yeah, so I guess when it is baking, you can do some dishes, take some pictures, and I'll meet you in about an hour. While our pie is baking, let's talk about our sponsor for today's video. Today's video is sponsored by Global Metro Marketing. They will teach you how to invest in precious metals using the Sound Money wallet. Now, I got 2 coins from them. One is a rare coin from Austria, super cool. And the other one is an Eagle 2019 silver dollar. Now, if you want to learn more about investing in precious metals using a simple app, then link in my description, check that out. And well, let's see if our pie is done. Okay, our pie is officially done. It looks insane. It is spewing all over the place. It is messy, but trust me, it is so good. You have to let it cool for quite a while, maybe like an hour or 2. So that you can really make a nice solid slice, but it's going to taste amazing and it'll still be warm by that time, and you really want to eat it warm like that. Anyways, can't wait to dig into this. I wish it was prettier, but honestly the pies that look messy kind of like this is usually the best one. So I hope you enjoy. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please check that link in description for today's sponsor. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.